Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 11th, and the Braves, the first team to clinch a spot into the postseason. And could Mike Trout be on the move next year? Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? It is Monday, a nice sunny Monday here, and we've got baseball to go over as usual. I am getting more excited for playoffs with each and every passing day. The Braves are the first team to clinch in the postseason. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But for now, let's dive on into the weekend's series recap. Leading us off here, we have the White Sox at the Tigers. Mike Clevenger pitches a gem. The White Sox blank the Tigers and beat them for the win, a 6-0. A home run from Matt Vierling put the cherry on top as the Tigers evened up the series as they beat the White Sox 3-1. And then Gibson Long had a great debut for the Tigers, pitching 5 innings of work. The Tigers scored 3 runs in the third and did not look back as they end up taking 2 of 3 versus the White Sox, beating them 3-2. Guardians and Angels now for 4, and jumping ahead, we have the Angels down 1 in the 9th. Kyron Paris ties it up with a base hit, and then Randall Grichuk walks it off with another single. The Angels come from behind in the 9th and take the opener of the 4, winning it 3-2. The Guardians took a lead in the 3rd inning and would never give it back up as they would take that one and even up this series, winning it 6-3. Logan O'Hoppe, Brett Phillips, Matt Thaiss, and Randall Grichuk all go deep for the Halos, who bounce back and win that 3rd game 6-2. And after one Guardians home run from Cole Calhoun, the Angels shut down the Guardians offense as that leads them to another win. The Angels end up taking 3 of 4 from the Guardians, and they do so to favor up the Twins as they win it 2-1. Speaking of those Twins, we have the Mets at the Twins here, and a Carlos Correa home run and a couple of RBI doubles from Royce Lewis is what the Twins need. They take the first game and look to get some separation from the Guardians in that AL Central. They win it 5-2. A big bases clearing triple from Max Kepler and a home run from Willie Cascio give the Twins the run support they need as they take another game in the series, this one 8-4. And the Twins offense disappears in the final despite Pablo Lopez's great pitching performance and a new career high in strikeouts with 14. The Mets' 2-run double in the 9th would give them the win as they avoid the sweep to the Twins. With the win, the Mets take it 2-0. Now we have the Nationals and the Dodgers, and the Dodgers get home runs from JD Martinez, Max Muncy, and Kike Hernandez as they cruise past the Nationals in the opener, winning it 8-5. For the second game, after Lane Thomas goes deep for his 24th on the year, the Dodgers were down by 3, but they were able to tie the game after a Max Muncy home run and a Colton Wong base hit, which would tie it and send it to extras, where the Nationals are able to walk it off on a wild pitch from Gus Varland, and they win it to even up the series 7-6. Rookie James Outman hits his 19th home run of the year. The Dodgers got an early 4-run lead in this game, and they were able to hold on to it throughout the game as they take the rematch and 2 of 3 from the Nationals, winning it 7-3. Pirates and Braves now, and Ronald Acuna Jr. hits home run number 35, while Eddie Rosario hits home run at number 21. The Braves cruise to a nice win versus the Pirates 8-2. Benches would clear early in this one as Acuna was nearly hit by a pitch, and there is a lot of history with the Pirates hitting Acuna with pitches, so Ronald did not take this too kindly. After things got cleared up and we were back to playing baseball, it's Brian Reynolds who homers to get things started for the Pirates. Liover Paguro homered later to add some insurance. The Pirates take the second game and even up the series 8-4. And the Braves, with a chance to clinch with the win, got a huge 4-run 7th inning to put them out in front after Acuna and Olsen both had 2 RBI singles in the inning, resulting in the Braves taking the rematch and becoming the first team to punch their tickets into October with that win 5-2. Rockies and Giants now, and hey, Wilmer Flores, Mitch Haniger, and JD Davis go back to back to tie the game up in the 6th, and in the next inning, Blake Sabol goes deep for the lead. The Giants hold on and take the first game of this series 9-8. Logan Webb pitches a great game and gets help from Theo Estrada, who hit a 2-run home run in the game as the Giants run away with this one and win it 9-1. And in that final game, Theo Estrada, Mitch Haniger, and Jock Peterson all go deep in this one. The Giants, after a hard series with the Cubs, do what they need to and sweep the Rockies, beating them 6-3. Cardinals and Reds now, a 3-run home run from Wilson Contreras in the first set the tone in this one, as the Cardinals had put up 6 runs before the Reds even scored 1. The Redbirds take the opener, they win it 9-4. Second game, Wilson Contreras with another big home run in this game, a 2-run bomb that tied up the game, and then Lars Nootbaar doubled to put the Cardinals up as they would hold on to that lead once more and end up with another win 4-3. The Reds know what they need to do in this final game, and to make sure they do it, they get some much-needed reinforcements. Jonathan India and Joey Votto both returned from the IL, and speaking of Votto, it's his 40th birthday, so what would he do in this game? Well, how about India and Votto both returning and both hitting home runs in their returns? Joining them with home runs was Will Benson and TJ Friedl, as the 4 Reds home runs led to that win as on Votto's 40th birthday. They avoid the sweep to the Cardinals and win that last game 7-1. Now we've got the Brewers and the Yankees. Willy Adames gets things started for the Brewers with a 2-run home run, and later on the crew scored 6 runs in the 6th and 7th innings. That would end up being the difference in this one as the Brewers win it 8-2. Tied at 2 entering the 8th inning, the Brewers took the lead with a home run from Tyrone Taylor and went on to score 3 more runs in that inning, and then added 4 more in the 9th as they scored lots of runs late once more for the win, beating the Yankees 9-2. And in that final game, Corbin Burns and Garrett Cole were both remarkable in this game. The difference was that Burns was throwing a no-hitter. After getting relieved in the 9th for Devin Williams, he finished the would-be no-hitter. Only problem is the Brewers didn't score a run yet, so on to extras we went, where after Williams was Uribe, who continued the no-hitter after 10, especially with an amazing game-saving and no-hitter saving catch by Sal Frelick. That could be catch of the year, but the Brewers didn't score a run until the 11th inning, which gave the Brewers to finish the game with a no-hitter, the first no-hitter in the 11th inning. But unfortunately, with 1 out in the 11th, Oswaldo Cabrera tied the game and ruined the no-hitter with a double. The Brewers got 31 batters out with a couple of walks mixed in there. After both teams scored in the 12th once again, we went on to the 13th where Kyle Higashioka walked it off with a double, as the Yankees, after getting no hit for 10 and a third inning, they find a way to win this one and avoid the sweep to the Brewers, winning it 4-3. Padres and Astros now. Xander Bogaerts and Trent Grisham both homer in the game as the Padres show up to H-Town and deliver an offense explosion as they would beat the Astros 11-2. Yordan Alvarez got things started with his 26th home run of the year, and then later on the Astros scored 5 runs in the 5th inning to come back and take the lead as they get the win and even up the series, being the Padres 7-5. For that final game, Kyle Tucker did something in this game that is even more rare than a perfect game. After entering this game with 0 triples on the season, he would get 2 triples in the 6th inning alone. Only the 11th time in MLB history that the same player got 2 triples in the same inning, as the Astros had a huge 6th inning, scoring 8 runs and putting this one out of reach as they end up winning 2 of 3 in the series, taking that last game 12-2. A's and Rangers now, and Oakland comes to Texas to do some damage as a couple of home runs from Esteury Ruiz and Shea Langeliers put them up and would help them win the game as they upset Texas and win the opener, beating them 6-3. Zach Galoff would tie the game in the 7th by hitting a 2-run home run, but this time Texas would get the lead back off of a wild pitch in the next inning. Texas has to win the nail-biter, and they do, to even up the series 3-2. And in that final game, Marcus Semien hit 2 home runs in the game. Corey Seager hits his 30th of the year for 3 important Texas Rangers home runs, resulting in the much-needed win to take the series as they beat the A's 9-4. Blue Jays and Royals now in Toronto here. The Jays get reinforcements. Bo Bichette is back and healthy, and in his first game back delivers 2 RBIs on a double and a single that he had in the game. The big hit in this game, though, came from Vladdy Jr., who had a 2-run double to break the tie in the 7th and put the Jays up as it got close to the end. The Royals did score some runs, keeping it close, but the Blue Jays did hold off and beat the Royals to take the first game 5-4. And by George, what a game from George Springer for the second game. He launched 2 Springer dingers in the game and had a total of 4 RBIs as Kevin Gausman throws a gem of a game, leading to another Blue Jays win, this one 5-1. After struggling against Cole Riggins for 5 straight innings, the Blue Jays caught a break after 2 walks from him. He then threw not 1 nor 2, but 3 straight wild pitches, which brought in both those 2 walks that tied the game up in the 6th inning. It was the weirdest display of pitching I had ever seen. In the next inning, Kevin Kiermaier then launched his 8th home run on the year to put the Blue Jays up. Toronto does exactly what they need to, and they get the sweep over the Royals and now have won 8 in their last 10 and have an extra game now over Texas as they beat the Royals 5-2. Oilers and Red Sox now, and it's Ryan O'Hearn and Adley Rutschman who both homer as the Oilers score 4 runs in an inning twice, as that leads the way to their opener, winning in the series 11-2. Second game, we had an absolute slugfest. A combined 6 home runs and a total of 25 runs scored, but it was Baltimore who hit 5 of the 6 home runs from Aaron Hicks, James McCann twice, Jordan Westberg, and Gunnar Henderson. The Orioles come out on top on this one as they win it 13-12. And now the Orioles, on a 7-game win streak after that game, would look to make it 8, but Boston, who is still trying to hunt their way into their playoff spot, would get a big 3-run home run from rookie Tristan Casas for his 24th of the year to help the Red Sox win 1 and avoid the sweep to the division leaders as they take it 7-3. The Mariners at the Rays now, in quite the pitcher's duel here between Luis Castillo and Zach Littell to start this 4-game set, with the only run being scored in the game was on a Mike Ford single in the second. The Mariners pitchers blank Tampa and they win it 1-0. Game 2, home runs from Rene Pinto, Harold Ramirez, and Isaac Paredes help lift the Rays past the Mariners as they even up the series, winning it 7-4. The Rays were down 3 runs after Julio hit one out for his 29th of the year, but they were able to come back and tie the game, which brought us to the 9th inning where Yandy Diaz was the hero, a 2-run walk-off home run, his 19th of the year. The Rays get another one, beating the Mariners 7-5. In that final game, the Rays explode early, scoring 3 runs in the first and 2 more in the third to put pressure on the Mariners to fight and split the series, but in the end, they could not. Tampa is able to take 3 of 4 versus the Mariners, and they drop to the 3rd wildcard spot after a rough series in the Trop. Rays win it 6-3. Marlins and Phillies now, and this is the big one here. Trey Turner continues to mash the baseball as he gets another home run to his name, but the Marlins did one better as Jesus Sanchez and Jacob Stallings homered for the Finns, and they end up winning the opener of this important series 3-2. Kyle Schwarber crushes his 42nd homer of the year. A huge 3-run double from Brandon Marsh helps the Phillies secure the win to even up the series, winning it 8-4. And now we have an important Game 3 here as the season series is tied at 6, and the winner of this game would get the tiebreaker if necessary. And it started to look good for the Phillies with home runs from Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber, and Ranger Suarez had no hit the Marlins for the first 6 innings of this game. But then we got into the 7th inning where the Marlins got their first hit and proceeded to score 5 runs in the inning. 5 runs in the 7th and 8th inning combined. They would come back, including a 2-run home run from Brian De La Cruz. The Marlins were the team to win it and now hold the tiebreaker over the Phillies as they took it 5-4. Lastly here, a 4-game set between the D-backs and Cubs. And what an important game of this series this was. Jordan Lawler makes his debut for the D-backs and recorded his first MLB hit, as the D-backs had a huge impact from Tommy Pham, who had 2 home runs in this game, as well as one from Ketel Marte, as they would take the first of 4 for this important series for the NL wildcard, winning it 6-2. Zach Gallen masterclass inbound. An amazing game from Gallen leads him to his first career complete game shutout, as that would help the D-backs get another win as they take it 1-0. Tied at 1 after 9, we would enter extras where the D-backs scored 2 runs and held the Cubs to only 1 run, as they have now taken the first 3 games of this series with another win, beating the Cubs 3-2. The Cubs trying to avoid a 4-game sweep and would get help from some of their big names as Christopher Morel, Cody Bellinger, and Dansby Swanson all homer in the 3rd inning, with Bellies and Swanson's being back-to-back home runs. That would lead the way for the Cubs as they do win 1 and avoid the 4-game sweep to salvage the series with a win 5-2. Now a look at that game of the week, and we are heading to Philadelphia for that last game on Sunday. Bottom of the 1st, Trey Turner does it again. He has 9 home runs in his last 10 games. Home run at number 24 for Turner. He is as hot can be. Bottom of the 3rd, Kyle Schwarber, home run number 43 on the year. That made it 3-0 Philadelphia. The Marlins were getting no hit until Brian De La Cruz got a base hit in the 7th to break that up. And then with another runner on, Yuli Gurriel doubles for the 2 runs there. That would put the Marlins at 3-2. And then Nick Fortes, he would single in that run to tie the game at 3. And then to the top of the 8th we would go. Brian De La Cruz, home run at number 19, a 2-run shot, makes it 5-3 Miami. In the bottom of the 8th, Castellanos would double in a run to put it at a 5-4 game, but the Marlins pitchers would hold on from there as the Marlins get the 5-4 win and get the season over the Phillies 7-6, so they hold the tiebreaker now. That is your game of the weekend. All right, talking about some of the baseball news from this weekend, and we're going to start with the Braves. They are the first team to clinch postseason. They're about a week away essentially from clinching their division as a whole, but to already say that, hey, even if you lose the rest of these games, you'll have the wild card, you'll be there. The Braves can feel happy about that. They're one of 12 and are officially the first to the October dance, so congratulations, Atlanta. Well deserved. They're the best team by far on paper, and it shows. They've been playing great games. They have a great team, 1 through 9. Pitching's there. So the Braves are going to be the team to beat, essentially, in the NL there. And with a team clinching, we have two teams eliminated, the Rockies and the White Sox. Both of those teams have officially mathematically been eliminated from playoff contention this year. They're the third and fourth teams to mathematically be eliminated, joining Oakland and the Royals. So, yeah. We're getting to that point now where it's going to be, every episode we have teams either clinching or teams being eliminated from playoff berths here. Just how happens that today's episode has a clinching team and two eliminating teams there. So, yeah. Here's a little bit of news to shake things up now. German Marquez of your Colorado Rockies is signing a 2-year, $20 million extension with the Rockies. So that's interesting there. German Marquez did have Tommy John, though, and he will miss most of 2024. However, he is going to be with the Rockies for 2025 for $10 million there. I believe he also has a good amount of money incentives. I think he has another $10 million in incentives depending on how well he pitches in 2025. But good on the Rockies. Your guy here is going to have Tommy John. He's going to miss the season, but you're going to pay him the money he is due, I'd say. German Marquez is definitely one of the best pitchers in Rockies, especially recently. So good on them to go out and sign their guy there. Yeah. And then Jason Dominguez with your New York Yankees, he is going to be out now with a torn UCL. He's going to be shut down for the year, I presume. And that's a big setback for the Yankees. Not that they were going to do anything with him this year, but I mean, to get as much looks as it can at big league pitching, and he's done a good job. He had 4 home runs in his time. And just we'll have to see what that injury does for him. That's probably going to push him back a little bit next year as well. And, most injuries people can recover from, but there's those off chances where they may never play the baseball the same way that they did, or at least a little bit more cautiously. So we'll have to wait and see how that affects his game next season. But for now, we've seen the last of the Martian in the big leagues this year. And now this is the big news of the weekend. The Angels, they said that if Mike Trout did want out of the organization, they would consider trading him next year. And that is huge news because we would go from the Angels the start of this year having all this potential to now losing Ohtani and Trout within a year from that point, which would be absolutely crazy. We're presuming Ohtani's gone, and I mean, Trout signed that big deal, yes, but at the same time, this is the type of player who deserves a ring at some point, and it's clear that the Angels are not going anywhere in the next 10 years. So, I mean, it's time to look at options for Trout and see where he might end up. There's definitely a lot of good landing spots for him, I would say. It's just, which teams are willing to take up that contract. It would be a very interesting trade if it does happen. I'll say that much for sure. It's a lot of money that man is owed. And small market teams like Tampa and Oakland, not that Oakland was going to go trade for Trout, but they're definitely going to be already out of that. You're going to be looking at teams like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, teams like those who are also going to be going after Ohtani. Those are the types of players who are going to be going after Trout as well, if he is made available, if he does want out. Trout, I haven't seen anything from Trout on this yet. I don't think he's made any comments about that. But I mean, I definitely think it would be an interesting conversation entering the offseason of whether Trout wants to stay with the Angels or not. But that's definitely something that we'll be watching out for throughout the year next season as well. But yeah, definitely caught some of us off guard here. That's definitely some interesting news. And then the last bit of news here that we have is Pete Crow Armstrong, the Cubs' top prospect. He is getting called up and plans to be activated on Tuesday. So yeah, that's pretty big for the Cubs. They just they had a good series against the Giants. They swept them, and then they just went out and dropped 3 of 4 versus the Diamondbacks. So it's all those NL teams are winning series and then losing series, like left and right. So they all stay right there. And the Cubs are hoping that their top prospect and Pete Crow Armstrong will help them make that impact as they go for the playoff push here. It's going to be interesting to see how well he plays. It's always risky when you call up a top prospect because, yeah, they're a prospect and you think they're going to be good, but some top prospects just don't pan out, and the Cubs desperately need him to contribute as they try to go for a playoff push here down the stretch. But yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong will make his debut Tuesday, so that's something to look forward to if you are a Cubs fan or just like baseball in general, who you like seeing the kids get called up. Big fan of the rookies, I should say here. So we'll see. We'll get a first look at him on Tuesday. All right, moving on from that baseball news, we've got some outstanding performances to go over. We'll start with Jameson Taillon, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 9 Ks. Mike Clevenger, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 7 Ks. Bryce Elder, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 Ks. Justin Steele, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 Ks. Tanner Bebe, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 8 Ks. Tyler Anderson, 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks. Kevin Gausman, 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 10 Ks. Pablo Lopez, 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 14 Ks, career high for him. Garrett Cole, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 Ks. Corbin Burns, 8 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. And lastly, Zach Gallen, the complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. Those are your outstanding performances. And now here we have our standings check, and starting with that AL East, Baltimore still has the lead over the Rays, only 3 games now, and a little preview here, this weekend they start their 4-game set, which could determine the division here, so that's going to be something to watch out for. For the AL Central, it's really starting to look like it's Minnesota's to lose. They now have a 7.5-game lead over the Guardians, and I'm pretty sure that the Twins will end up taking that division at this point, unless the Twins have a crazy cold streak and the Guardians have a crazy hot streak. It definitely is the Twins to lose. For the AL West, the Mariners and Texas are both 3-7 in their last 10. Houston is 6-4. Houston holds the division lead right now. They're 2.5 over the Mariners and 3 over the Rangers. So Seattle and Texas need to kind of get going again, because they've been kind of cold as of late, while Houston has been able to take advantage of that. For the NL East, the Braves have a 15-game lead over the Phillies. The magic number is 6. They've clinched the postseason already. It's just a matter of time now. For that NL Central, the Brewers are 3 games up over the Cubs, but the Cubs are right on the tails. The Reds are only 6.5 games back, but it seems like it is going to come down to the Brewers versus the Cubs for that NL Central division there. And lastly, the NL West, same with the NL East. The Dodgers have a 13-game lead over the D-backs. Their magic number is 7, and it's just a matter of days before the Dodgers clinch that division as well. Taking a look at that wild card now, the Rays have kind of cemented themselves into the first seed of the wild card there. They're at 8.5 over the line there. It's going to be hard for any team to catch up. The Blue Jays are now in the 2nd seed, a game up over the line. The Mariners currently at the line and hold the 3rd and final wild card seed there. And the Rangers are half a game out, Boston is 6. So Boston, if they want any chance, they got to go, and they got to go now. But hey, Tampa's probably going to lock themselves in sooner or later. Taking a look at the NL side, the Phillies, a 4-game lead over the line there. They hold the first seed. The Cubs, 2 games over the line there. They hold it there. The Diamondbacks are currently in the 3rd seed and are at the line there. Miami is a half a game back of the Diamondbacks. The Giants and Reds are a game and a half back. So it is still a cluster of teams for one spot there, and it's gonna suck when we're talking about these teams being eliminated that could have been playoff teams, but it's just coming down to the wire here. Who's gonna get it, who will not, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, that is your standings check. And now a look at the upcoming series for this week. We have the Nationals at the Pirates, Royals at the White Sox, Cardinals at the Oilers, Cubs at Rockies, Reds at Tigers, D-backs at Mets, the Yankees at Red Sox, the rivalry there, Padres at Dodgers, always a fun one there, Braves at Philly, so an opportunity for the Braves to lower their magic number tremendously with a good series there, Guardians at Giants, Rays at Twins, good possible, division series matchup there. A's at Astros, Angels at Mariners, Marlins at Brewers, the first time they will meet this season. And then lastly here we have the Rangers at the Blue Jays for a 4-game set. That's the series to watch. That's the big one. And what I want to do is I'm going to preview that series right now. So this is something that I might be continuing going forward here for the episodes, picking the best series to watch and essentially just kind of reviewing it and going over, the potential playoff implications that it might have. So we're going to do that here right now. The Blue Jays and the Rangers, this is the big one, a 4-game set in Toronto. As of right now, the Rangers have the series. They're 2-1 when they played earlier in the year in Texas. So with this being a 4-game set, the Rangers need to win 2 games to get the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays, while the Blue Jays would need to take 3 of 4 if they were going to have the tiebreaker. The Blue Jays are 8-2 in their last 10 and are currently on a nice little roll here, while the Rangers have struggled and they are 3-7 in their last 10. We know about the Rangers bullpen, the issues they have had, and that's going to be a big thing in this series for the Jays to take advantage of is, keeping the game close early in the game, and then when Texas has to go to their bullpen, that's when you can strike. Rogers Center is a hitter-friendly ballpark, so these pitchers are going to need to put on their A stuff, and guys like Chapman will need to, find a way to shut down this Blue Jays offense because we know it is good. They just got Bo Bichette back. That's going to help them out big time. Taking a look at this the pitching lineups for this series. We start with today on Monday, Dane Dunning versus Chris Bassett. Tuesday is Max Scherzer versus Hyunjin Ryu. Wednesday is Jordan Montgomery versus Yusei Kikuchi. And then Thursday, some of the aces, Nathan Eovaldi and Kevin Gausman on the bump here. Great pitchers, all 8 guys you would know, guys who have had good seasons realistically. Ryu came back with Tommy John, he's pitched pretty well. Scherzer came over in the Mets deal from the Mets at the trade deadline. Jordan Montgomery, someone they signed from free agency. Eovaldi, someone they've got from free agency. Gausman's been a huge part in the Blue Jays' success, and he, could maybe potentially win a Cy Young this year. He's pitched really well. He's coming off a great game against Kansas City. So good pitches throughout the series here. But now I want to mention some of the X-Factor players, guys who I think will be the difference in this series, or has to be the difference if they want to, win games for their teams. And the first guy here, without a doubt in my mind, is Marcus Semien. He played 1 season with Toronto, and it's still arguably the best season of his career. It was his first time playing second baseman. He moved over from shortstop, and he was an all-star game for the first time. He won a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger. He had 45 home runs with the team, and he placed third in MVP voting right behind his teammate Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and, of course, Shohei Ohtani. Simeon hit plenty of home runs in his time with Toronto, and he knows the Rogers Center very well. He's going to play a good defense, and he needs to come through in a big way if the Rangers need some success here. He's definitely going to be the guy that I'm watching this series. He's going to be the make or break for Texas, I think. Moving on, my next X factor here is Davis Schneider. Guys get called up, and he's put on ridiculous video game numbers since making his debut. He's been phenomenal. A little slower as of late, considering his hot start was as hot as it was. But he needs to get going. He needs a home run in this series. He needs a huge at-bats here, and he's going to get some opportunity against guys he's never faced before. So, I mean, the Blue Jays, now that I have Bo Bichette back, it's nice, but Schneider is going to be someone that they need to look at. I still expect him batting in the top 4 there. They need him to come through for him, and I think the Blue Jays will rely on Schneider a lot. So Schneider's my second X factor there. My third and fourth X factors here are your shortstops, Bo Bichette and Corey Seager. Bichette's returning from injury. He's played a good series against the Royals here. Seager has been on a tear as of late, and he is a really good shortstop. And, going back to the All-Star game, it was a battle of, Corey Seager dealing with injury and then being really hot coming off of injury versus Bo Bichette, who was very consistent throughout the whole season. It turned out Seager was going to win the All-Star vote there. But here we actually get to test that theory here. Who is the better shortstop, Bo Bichette and Corey Seager? I'm very interested to see which one of these shortstops have the better series. Bichette coming off of injury, yes, but Seager, he's definitely the best left-handed bat, one of the best left-handed bats in our league to this day. He's had a great series. He had a home run yesterday in Sunday's game. So it's definitely going to be those two shortstops that I look out for. And those are two more of my X factors. My last X factor here is I'm looking for a starting pitcher, to step up and be that dog. When you look at those 8 guys who are pitching, you can classify them 2 and 2 for an A tier, and then 2 and 2 for a B tier. I think Gausman and Bassett are definitely the A tier Blue Jay pitchers, while Max Scherzer and Nathan Eovaldi are the A tier Texas Rangers pitchers. But those other 4 guys like Dane Dunning, Jordan Montgomery, Yusei Kikuchi, and Hyunjin Ryu, all 4 have had very good seasons, but one of them needs to step up, and it needs to, be someone who isn't those elite guys like Gausman and Scherzer. It needs to be one of those 4, and I'm expecting it to happen in that Wednesday game, which I think is going to be the game to watch. I definitely think Thursday's game with Nathan Eovaldi and Kevin Gausman has the best pitchers duel, but the Wednesday game is going to be the most important game of that series because it is 2 in what I call B-tier pitchers, Jordan Montgomery versus Yusei Kikuchi. One of those 2 left-handers are going to step up and have an amazing game that day. And that's going to be an important game because whether the series is 1-1 or 2-0, I mean, it works any situation. If your team is 2-0 and you get that Wednesday game, you're now 3-0. You have now won the series already. That's a huge for you. If it's 1-1, if you take that Wednesday game, the worst you can do is now tie, right? You won't be able to lose that series. And if your team is 0-2, getting that Wednesday game is important because it means that you have a chance to tie up the series on Thursday. So Wednesday is the game to watch. That's the game you should circle here. And that's kind of the preview here. Blue Jays and Rangers is going to be the big series of the week. It's definitely a game I think you guys should watch if you do not live in Toronto. And if you do live in Toronto, I would definitely recommend trying to go to one of these games if you have the time. It's definitely going to be a very important series. And we also know the history between these two teams, 2015-2016. It's going to be that same tension-fueled kind of, playoff atmosphere, just with different guys. Instead of Jose Bautista and Rougned Odor, it's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Adolis Garcia, who is going to be missing the series. That's a big thing that I did not mention here, is that he is still on the IL. Garcia's been kind of the dog for Texas this season, and he is on the IL. He will not be playing in this series, which kind of favors the Blue Jays a little bit, but it's still going to be a great series to watch. But that is going to do it for our episode here today. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Playoff baseball is closer and closer each day, each episode. We're going to be going over playoffs. It's getting really exciting times here. But thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the baseball yesterday as well as the football yesterday. And we got the Jets and Bills today, so that's always fun to watch here. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on Friday.